Welcome to Mr. Cooch's flute video. So like all the videos, I'm going to go through a series of songs that we've been practicing in class. And between the songs, before or after, I will address a couple specifics to the flute that will help guide the students' practice. The flute is one of the most difficult instruments you'll find in the band. It takes a lot of precision, athleticism, and memorization of the really funky fingerings to get good at the flute. So it's very difficult. The first thing that any flute player should do is ensure that they can get a sound out of the flute. How we do that is just taking the head joint, the top joint of the flute, and focusing on our tone hole and being able to blow into it and create a sound. Right, I should just be able to create a sound. How I do that if I'm struggling is a couple different ways. First, I make sure that I have the correct mouth shape, and then I make sure that I have the correct location, and then it's at the correct angle. Those three things. I like to keep things simple and in threes. So I ensure that I have the correct mouth shape is I either put a pencil in my mouth, and I bite and I squeeze it with my lips until it holds. And that face I just made, that is the embouchure of flute. A second way, the more traditional way, is you say the word pew. Pew, and then where you finish, pew, is the shape of the embouchure we went for flute. Right. The kids know this by now, but that's just something that may be beneficial to remind them of, or maybe this video. Secondly, I'm going to put the base or the edge of the tone hole to my bottom lip. If it's too far rotated out, I won't get a sound. If it's too far rotated in, I won't get a sound. Too far up, I won't get a sound. Too far down, obviously I won't get a sound. So we want it on the base of our lip and right where it'll catch the air. And I would spend a couple minutes each day practicing getting a quality sound out of the head joint. And the longer you hold it, the longer you'll be able to play phrases, which is the main struggle of flute is air and air support. So just focusing on this is a really helpful way of improving your sound and extending the length of your phrasing. Phrasing is how long you're playing before breaths. So once again. Now, think of a hose. When you put your hand in front of the hose, the water shoots out faster, but there's less water going out at a time. It's a smaller stream that goes faster. As you want your pitch or the sound to go up, you do the same thing. You make your air go faster and less of it at a time. So we think of pushing our air through a coffee cup straw, real tiny and focused. We think about raising the back of our tongue up and saying E, which sends our air down faster, and then through that smaller aperture. Sound like this. So the second step is being able to change your pitch on your head joint. I'm going to zoom in close. Look how my mouth closes a little bit when I go higher. So that's the second step. And that's a great exercise that'll take you a long way on flute. Let's put our instrument together. Go quickly through hot cross buns. Hot cross buns is a D, C, and B flat. Flutes need to make sure that they're moving their fingers fast and very mechanical so that they can go quickly between notes. And they need to take as little breaths between their notes as possible. Secondly, don't rest it on your shoulder. It should be off your shoulder. You bring it to you. So the second thing is, I just made that mistake. My pinkies weren't aligned. That's causing a bad sound right now because of my pinky slipping. So make sure that your pinky, so if you look here, the key for this hole here, which is your finger, and your pinky are not supposed to be in line. The reason why is your pinky rests on it over there. So make sure that's where you want it to be nice and comfortable. Otherwise, you'll just make the mistake that I did. Flute is my worst instrument by far. Very difficult. So the goal, as I just did, was take a breath every 2 measures. If you can do that, you're on the right track. Secondly, say do for every single note, as opposed to stopping the air between each note. Here's me saying do between each note and keeping the air going. And here's me stopping the air. One sounds very much like a musician. The other sounds a little immature. We want the air constantly going, and all our tongue does is disrupt the sound. We're going to go on to flying high. Flying high features an E flat, which is 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, pinky. E flat. I tested a new note first. And once I know I got all 4 notes real nice and comfortable, then I would go on to flying high. Good. So as we played flying high, once again I took a breath every 2 measures. I slammed my fingers down. Secondly, I don't want my fingers flying away from home. What that means is if they're not on the keys, they shouldn't be all the way up here. It should not look like this. It's really inefficient. It's causing a lot of tension in the hands. We want to keep those fingers nice and close. Right? Nice and close, no matter what we're doing. Once again, it's keeping the air going, efficient sound, nice and focused, and keeping our fingers close. We're going to go on again. We're going to go on to Band Boogie. Band Boogie features 5 notes, which are B flat, C, D, E flat, and F. Once again, like I said at the beginning of the video, the flute's fingerings are pretty confusing. So I always go through them with the students. 1, 1, pinky, thumb, it's B flat. 1, 1, pinky, 1 pinky, just 1 pinky, C. Thumb, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, pinky is E flat. And then thumb, 1, 2, 3, 1, pinky is F. So always check your notes before you play. Secondly, when you have a new note, which we do now, just check that one note by playing it. If you notice I went high, that's because I was blowing my air a little too fast and through too small of a column. It's nice and down. So say ooh when you play an F. If you're too low, on those lower notes, maybe instead of saying ooh, say E or A, and blow a little faster. It's all about getting to this note here. I'll play it one more time. Now here's Band Boogie. That's all band boogie. That one's the hardest one that we're going to do right now in this video. If you get to that point, doing a great job. Have a productive